What's good with you guys? You guys are watching The CaliEffect. Just call me Leon, call me Cali, whatever. Today, I just wanted to apologize for the lack of these type of videos. This video I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and it just takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to do because it's a very sensitive topic. And I feel like if I can share my experiences with you guys, then possibly, just possibly, it would help somebody in the future. The title isn't really clickbait. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it isn't. And if you guys haven't been catching on right now, if you're looking for a Yu-Gi-Oh video, then click somewhere else. This is not going to be the video for you. I have plenty of other Yu-Gi-Oh videos, but Sunday is where we start talking about some RNS for the people that don't understand. Real nigga shit. So, I should have died in 2010, and it wasn't, because of any outside sources. I should have killed myself in 2010, and I'm not saying it in a damn I regret killing myself type thing. It's like I was on that verge of killing myself, but let me go back a little bit further, and then we'll build up to the situation what made me feel like my life was over, and hopefully my story again can impact you guys because I don't know, it's just something that's telling me to make this video, and I'm not 100% sure why. There was actually a second part to it, me explaining all the bullshit that's basically been going down for a couple years with the local shops in town. I'm not, to be honest, I'm over that. Like, I really don't care about any local shop that has a problem with me. I don't got a problem with nobody. So if you got a problem with me, then you're making your own bed. And there's not even really a pocket of people. There are one or two people that have some type of problem with me, and actually one person. And I went to address the issue, and he want to act like a hoe ass nigga. But again, that's for a totally different story. Let's go all the way back to I was in I want to say the 7th or 6th grade, and I came back from a trip from Laughlin, and my sister, we go to my granny's house. She's not biologically my grandmother, but we call her granny because, I mean, she's damn near my grandmother. And we go over there because we were supposed to just, go over there, chill. She normally cooks on Sunday and all that other stuff, and she normally cooks enough for everybody. She normally wants people over there. She feeds the living daylights out of us. So we go over there, and I'm not even out of the car yet. I'm playing Pokemon Emerald on my Game Boy. I'm just sitting there, chilling, relaxing, about to go in the house in a second, and my sister comes running out, and she's like, it's like she's laughing. But it's not like ha-ha laughing. Like, she's laughing, and it's kind of like hysterically, like something's wrong with her. She looks like, the Joker gave her like some laughing gas or something, and she's just laughing, covering her face, and she runs like off. And I'm like, that's weird as hell. What's so funny? So I come in smiling or whatever. I'm like, all right, what's the joke? My granny looks at me with this most stern look, and she tells me that my cousin killed himself. And I'm just like this. I'm like, and I just walk out. Like, I don't understand what's going on at that point in time. I literally just walk out, and I'm like, he killed himself. And it was my cousin Toddy, and this kid was a straight A student. And again, we lived in the hood for people that don't know, so the type of things of what this kid was doing, not just him being straight A student, there's plenty of straight A students, but he was an athlete. He was a straight A student. The kid was just smart. And when I mean smart, that kid was smart as hell. He was on the honor roll. It was nothing bad about this kid. He was always smiling. He had all the girls. He was literally the perfect person. And everybody wanted to be like him, or everybody wanted to, every guy wanted to be like him. Every girl wanted to be with him. He was just that guy. And he killed himself. And at that time of registering, I just couldn't, I couldn't understand. Like, I was just I'm like, this can't be true. Like, that was my favorite cousin. When when I was younger, we used to go to the projects all the time, and the people in the projects used to pick on me, like, because I played Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, and they would take my shit and run off, and I'd have to chase them down and beat their ass and get my shit back. But it's just, I think they were just trying to toughen me up or whatever, because it wasn't like, it wasn't like a real fight or anything. I would have to like chase them down and everything. But my cousin Toddy, he would be the one, like, when the people were real, like, he'd be like, chill the fuck out, you know what I mean? Like, y'all can mess with him and everything to tough him up, but y'all not gonna, just straight try to punk him for his cards. He would be the one that, when I didn't feel like going outside, he'd turn on his PlayStation and let me play Crash Bandicoot on his PlayStation. He had a Nintendo 64, so he let me play like Tony Hawk on his Nintendo 64 or whatever. Like, he'd be like, just chill, don't let nobody else fuck with you, because I was the second to youngest out of everybody in my sister's side on the projects. So of course, when you're the second to youngest, they gonna fuck with you. The only other person, the person that was younger to me, his name was Hakeem, and we was real tight. But to me, my big cousin Toddy, he was a role model to me. He was, somebody I looked up to, somebody I aspired to be. So when he died on that day, I still can't, and it was around this time too. So I think that's probably another reason why I wanted to talk about it. And it was really traumatic. So come to find out, the details of his death weren't necessarily as suicidal, quote unquote, as the output looked. So his friends, he was in another complex in the projects. His friends pulled out a gun. They were all playing with the gun. My cousin Toddy, he checked the mag, nothing in it, or he thought nothing was in it. Just playing around, pointing at people, being a dumbass. And everybody, everybody's like, don't shoot. He was like, there's nothing in it, there's nothing in it. And then he was like, he puts it to his head, shot himself, pulled the trigger and shot himself. Now, for the longest, and people were fucking mad. The projects were ready to tear down that, those people. They were ready to riot because they thought that, it was some foul play. Turns out, that's, my cousin does do some goofy shit, and it's very unfortunate that this time around it cost him his life. Oh man, it's hard to talk about this without trying to keep my composure. But that, people say it's an accident, but I don't know, man. Yeah, he's goofy. Yeah, he plays around like that, but subconsciously everybody has thoughts. And I know it. Like, you can't tell me it's any different. No matter how you feel, subconsciously, everybody has thoughts. And I'm not saying that everybody thinks bad. I'm not saying that everybody is depressed. But the face that you put outwardly isn't always 100% how you really feel. Sometimes when I'm like smiling and everything, and don't get me wrong, that's really me. I'm a happy-go-lucky, goofy-ass guy. Chuck is the personality I created because that's who I am, just a goofy-ass, funny-ass dude. And then there's a more serious side of me, but in the back of my head, there's this guy that's always working, you know what I mean? The guy that understands the position that he in, and he's just a hard-nosed, face to the ground, I want more guy. And he wasn't always like that. He was different. But like I said, everybody has like this different person in the back of their head. And it's not necessarily, everything you're about, but at the same time, it's another part of you. And I think for some reason he might have been depressed, and subconsciously he pulled the trigger. Now, it's something that's just been sitting in the back of my head for too long. Something that I just wanted to share, but I would never share that with them. I want my cousin to not have any type of any of that on his legacy, on his life. And man, it's crazy, but subconsciously I think something may have been wrong, and that's crazy. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, is that it doesn't matter how good your life is. It doesn't matter how good someone else's life looks. Everybody goes through their struggles. Everybody goes through their trials, and no one's invincible to depression. No one's invincible to the thoughts of, you know, ending their own life. No one. There's not a single soul out there. I don't give a fuck if you're Bill Gates. You can't tell me that you've never thought, you've never been depressed. It happens. Whether it's, you know, you lose your girlfriend, you lose a family member, a bad turn of events. It happens. It's part of life. But what I do want to tell you is that there's a difference between being depressed and you know, going through with ending your life, and you know, being depressed and not ending your life. Now, people like to say, oh, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, there's always happiness. Oh, there's always, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that better times are ahead, because for every single better time, there's a dark time afterwards. Look, man, if you're depressed right now, you're gonna be depressed again. That's life. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, just in your life right now because, you know, you're depressed right now. What I am saying is that when you move out of that depression, because you will move out of that depression. If you fight this, you will definitely move out of it. When you do get out of it, appreciate every second that you have that you aren't. Like, take a mental note when you finally get out of it, when you break free. Take a mental note that, fuck, man, appreciate every fucking second. So when you do get back into that rut, remember that, damn, that was what the life is like. And don't see me like, damn, why can't I go back to that? Be like, that is what life is going to be like once I get myself out of this rut. Now, there are quite a few big reasons why people are depressed. And mine was no different. A lot of people were depressed because of money, loss of family, you know, no family, loss of friends, girlfriend, like, you know, loss of all that stuff. And at that time, it was a multitude of things for me. I'm 17 years old. I just graduated from high school. Now, me graduating from high school was, looking at it, hindsight 2020, that wasn't tough at all. Like, high school was really easy. I just made it hard on myself because I wanted to be a straight, you know, high grade student when I had to take 13 classes in one semester. But I could have got all D's and passed and still be in the exact same place. Hell, I didn't even have to graduate, and I can be in the exact same place I'm in. On a side note, I graduated in high school on time by being, and I was a sophomore in my senior year. I was considered a sophomore in credits in my senior year. A friend of mine had the exact same credits, did not graduate, got a better job than me coming out of high school. And I think like my highest paying job, quote unquote, was his lowest paying job. So high school is bullshit, man. Degrees are bullshit. High school diplomas are bullshit. Especially when it's like, it's fucking, I have another guy, really good friend of mine. He graduated from high school, or he didn't graduate from high school. Some circumstances fucked him up. And he didn't necessarily graduate from high school, but I guess you can say he did. He graduated sooner than he would have because he dropped out and went to an adult education school. And he graduated a couple months, I think, quite a few months before his other people graduated. And he had less credits at the time too. So it's like, that's for a different story. I really think high school diplomas and GEDs are bullshit. Like, you do all that work for nothing. You should at least be able to get something out of it. I don't know, maybe fucking 2-3 years of fucking college, community college at least. But I digress. I'm going way off the point. So I graduated from high school, and it was one of the toughest experiences of my life at that time because I had to take so many classes, and it was a really depressing state. I couldn't do anything except for study and watch anime, but study and nothing. So when I finally, graduated, before I graduated, my mother was talking about, I needed to go to college, And I didn't necessarily understand why she was saying that, because you would probably think that your parents are talking about, you need to go to college, because they want you to have a better education, when in actuality, that didn't seem like the truth. Because once I graduated, and she realized that I didn't have all the stuff submitted for college, she was like, you need a job. Which at the same time, you're thinking, okay, that makes sense. I'm not going to sit in the house all day. I need a job. I wound up getting a job. And the first time me getting a job was pretty stressful because every day she would walk inside. Oh, you need to get out of my house, such and such. So you need to get a job, all this, you can't come back, all this stuff. And I'm like, and she's like, you need to go get on a suit and look for a job. I'm like, nigga, we are in the 21st century. No one goes to places with a suit on looking for jobs. Like, that's not how the world works. Like, you do it online. And she was like, oh, you need to go outside? You're right. I do need to go outside. I go outside, I play basketball, go play football, whatever. Apply. Wherever I see, I just apply. You know, I take my time. I do the thing that I do me. The thing that I like about my life or how my life has been, or I can just say myself, is that if I rush myself, I'll be stressed and I'll get it right. But if I take my time, I'll do it in the exact same amount of time and I won't be stressed. So why not do it that way? So I take my time. I wind up getting the job at Walmart. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty much a dick when I was working at Walmart because they didn't have the jobs themselves. And more importantly, when I mean they, my mother, she didn't necessarily have a job, but like I don't know what actually, no, I think she did have a job. It was her husband or her boyfriend or whatever he was at the time that did not have a job. So I'll be like, yeah, nigga, I'm working, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't have a job for quite some time. So I'm like, how are you expecting me to get a job when he don't even have a job? He's supposed to be like the head of the house, whatever. You know, all that other bullshit. So I wound up losing my job within that third month. I was a terrible Walmart employee. I'll be the first to say it. I was a complete bad Walmart employee. But to be honest, it was Walmart. I was barely 18. I didn't give a shit. I wound up losing my job at Walmart, and immediately after I lose my job, she's like, well, you need to get a job. Or no, not even immediately, because I was paying her rent. I was paying her like $200 every 2 weeks. Because I had a lot of money saved up because I wasn't doing anything. My job was literally 3 hours away to get there and 3 hours away to get back. So I would wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get there at 11. And then it was like 11, or I'm sorry. I would wake up at 8 to be ready at 11 to get there at 2. Then I'd get off at 11 and wouldn't be back home till like 1. So it was pretty fucking terrible in that sense. But she once the money started drying up, she was like, oh, you need to get a job, blah, blah, blah. Like, as long as I was paying her, she was perfectly fine. Like, there was no problems whatsoever. Once the money stopped, she had a problem with me not having a job. And then that's when I started to realize that it was never really about me going to college. It was about me getting financial aid for college so I can give you money and, you know, whatever. But at that time, at the time I got fired, I wasn't looking for a job. I was trying to go to college at that time. I was like, fuck it. I've been trying to go to college since work. Let me go to college now because that's what you do when you get out of high school. I was, on my way on the processes of going through college, and she winds up kicking me out because I don't have a job. And what's so crazy about it is it's not necessarily how I got kicked out that I got kicked out that put me in the depression that I was in. It's how I got kicked out. And let me go into it. I was playing Madden. It's like 8 o'clock at night. Or no, even before that. The morning of comes through. I wake up. I walk down. My phone is broken. My iPhone is broken. I had an iPhone 3 at the time. This was a long time ago. I know, right? I had an iPhone 3 at the time. My iPhone was broken. I'm like, how the fuck can I get, any type of job because I was still looking at the jobs at the time. I wasn't really looking, but I was kind of looking. How can I get, my financial aid or anybody calling me or anybody from the CSN calling me? And how can I get a job, quote unquote, if my phone doesn't work? So I come downstairs, I make myself food, and then he comes downstairs, which is my mother's boyfriend, husband, whatever he wants to be at that time. I'm pretty sure it was a boyfriend. And I ain't say nothing to him. So he goes upstairs and he starts complaining. Oh, how come your son don't say nothing to me? He should be greeting me when he comes. Like, nigga, you came downstairs and you saw me. I mean, I'm making food. I'm busy. Like, He's like, he should be. So she comes downstairs and she starts flipping out. How come you didn't say anything to him? Blah, blah, blah. All this other stuff. I'm like, whatever. I'm leaving. So I leave, get my phone fixed. That's an all day fucking adventure. Come back. When I come back, I hop on Madden. I'm literally in the fourth quarter. I'm playing against the Ravens. It's 21-24. I remember this fucking score perfectly. It's 21-24. I am losing. It was a fucking fantastic game. She comes in and unplugs the fucking Xbox 360. And it's a 360, so there's no autosave, there's nothing. That game's gone. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I am so tilted. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, as black kids, you don't cuss to your fucking parents. But still, it's like, nigga, I did nothing wrong. And she's like, you need to go. Obviously, she obviously had that intentions beforehand. I'm like, need to go? For what? She was like, you're disrespectful. You don't say good morning. All this other stuff. You need to go. Now, obviously, in the back of my head, I'm like, that don't make sense. You don't kick somebody out for not saying good morning. Like, that, you know, maybe somebody you don't like initially. Oh, shit. Maybe she just didn't like me. Huh. I guess that could be a possibility. But, she's like, you need to go. I'm like, I'm not fucking going anywhere. I pay rent here. Granted, I didn't pay rent there that month, but I was like, I don't fucking go. I get mail here, blah, blah, blah. I wound up going to sleep. She wound up calling the cops and telling the cops that I hit her and I hit him and all this other shit. So the cops come and they like, look, man, we can take you to jail for right now, but I know you trying to go to college or you trying to go to, you know, you trying to do something with your life. Just leave for tonight and then come back tomorrow. Whatever. I leave. Come back. She's like, and they tell her, obviously, you can't kick me out, even though I'm 18. You can't kick me out. You got to get an eviction, all this other stuff. I come back. All my shit is in the living room or in the loft. And it is a very small loft between my room, my brother's room, and their room. Like, very small because there's a computer desk and there's a washing machine. And they're like, oh, well, you can stay here, but you can't use any electricity. You got to sleep by the washer machine where everybody comes through. You don't have any room. That's your brother's room. The other room is going to, like, basically. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck you guys. And I leave. Throughout that entire time, I'm just fucking homeless. Like, literally no home. I leave my shit there. I just leave. It's fuck it. Fuck you guys. I don't even give a shit no more. And that was the time of realization. I'm staying over at a friend's house and I'm like, fuck, man. There's nothing. I don't have any family. Like, my grandmother's on drugs. My uncles and aunts are all on drugs or in jail. I do have one aunt. She's in California. I don't know why I don't call her or anything at that time. That's just stupidity. I should have just called her. But I'm like staying in between friends' houses, staying on the street. I post on MySpace. This is how long ago. I was like, man, just fuck it. Look, it's been fun. I love y'all, but I can't do this life shit no more. Fuck y'all. I'm out. You know what I mean? And that's when I get a call. And that's what helped change my life. I'm going to leave this down as part 1. And then I'm going to upload a part 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed this story. But I think that 20 minutes is good enough. And it's going to be another 20-minute segment about part 2 of my life. And depression, like I said, is a bitch. I really hope you guys stick for part 2 to see how I came out of this situation to be the person who I am. Because if I would have killed myself at that time, there would be no Cali effect. And I wouldn't be making this video. So catch you guys next time.